to work with, it may not be that simple or easy. And for me, the easiest route, go to Buena Vista Homes.
As always.
Once you get there, you offload the burden. You don't have to worry.
I have always been saying
and let it go.
Lay your property burdens on that of Uncle Kwabena and Uncle Sammy's shoulders. Look at how broad their shoulders are. Very strong as well. As strong as their beautifully crafted homes. Lay your property burdens on them and they'll help sort all of those out. Uncle Kwabena, in wrapping up, what would you say? Choosing the right artisans.
I'd say, like Sammy said, if you're looking to buy a property, I think you should look at the various developers. I would recommend Buena Vista. I've been involved in this project for over 20 years.
The best. Hear that? Over 20 years, 2 decades and counting.
Yeah, and we can guarantee you, good quality. We've worked with various teams of artisans, and we know their skill output and their work output, and you should always talk to us.
Talk to Buena Vista Homes, and the number to call is 0303 401 401, or you can get in touch with us on 050 130 4728 050 130 4728. We're social. Get interactive with us on all our social media platforms. Go to our website as well. Go and have a look at our project, the homes we power-packed edition of the Buena Vista Homes Real Estate Agenda.
Embrace your dream environment where greens are lush, serenity is unmatched. Homes.com or call 0303 401.
Fellow Ghanaians, good evening, and thank you very much for joining us here on UpFront on the Joy News channel. It's Wednesday, the 26th day of July 2023, a day that the NPP has done its balloting for its flag bearership race. Now, it was a process that started in May 2023. But even before the start in May 2023, I'm sure for many of you, at the beginning of 2021, it was clear that the NPP's attention was focused on breaking the 8. Has exceeded 2 terms. The NDC started in 1990. By 2012, he had passed on, and so you can understand why the stakes are high when it comes to the NPP's Nine of the 10 aspirants raised concerns. These Dr. Bamia wasn't there, Dr. Kofi Knido Apreku wasn't there. Number 7, Dr. Kofi Knido Apreku. Number 8, GE. I don't know if you have expertise in numbers, but for me, the most important thing today is that prior to this, we've had some of the aspirants complain and raise questions about the process. The critical question today is, has the NPP in organizing this created doubts in the minds of some of these aspirants? Has the process so far been a free, fair, and transparent process? Can all the aspirants claim that everything has so far been fair, or can the party itself say this process is free and fair? My name is Winston Amwa, and tonight we delve into the NPP's flag bearership race. We look at the processes so far and ask these critical questions as I've already asked. Stay with us when we return after these messages. I'll introduce my guest, and then we get into the conversation. We'll be right back.
Kojo, why are you late?
Yes, Kojo. Why are you late again?
Kwajo.
Can't you talk?
See, Mommy, I could lie like Amma and say I was doing my homework with my friends. Or lie like Amma and say I was helping Grandma buy food. Mommy, I will not lie like Amma. I was playing with my friends, and that is why I'm late.
Homework now.
Thank you for not lying to me. Your Calipo is in the fridge.
Calipo, the natural fruit juice drink.
Abdi, you know that.
This advert is FDA approved.
The EcoBank salary account, bro. See, with the EcoBank salary account, you will enjoy free life insurance, free debit card, save while you spend, and an amazing chance to double your salary. And even more consolation rewards in the EcoBank double salary promo reloaded.
Guy, this EcoBank salary account sounds interesting. What do you think?
Yara, but maybe next time, Charlie. You know what? I'll go shine my shoe.
Yo, myself, I'll go check my BP.
We going up, never go down, and we stay fly.
Chairman, you see the white sign it here.
Open an EcoBank salary account today for a lifetime of benefits. You also stand a chance to win more than double your salary in the EcoBank Double Salary Promo Reload.
Parts of the world. So, whenever you're feeling cold, feverish, nausea,
You have malaria?
Yes, please.
Are you shivering?
Yes, yes.
You got chill.
Sanitized election, and the Electoral Commission is in control of. Number six.
What does that mean to you?
It means I'm going to win.
For the Special Electoral College elections, we discussed the voting period, the voting time, which is prescribed, and voting designated centers in all the 16 regions.
Are you satisfied with the engagement with the elections committee?
Oh, sure, we are. So we are looking for free, fair, transparent process.
What was your number on the ballot?
Well, I picked number 7.
What does that mean to you?
Well, what is it? I mean, picking a number on the ballot paper doesn't mean anything.
Well, a number doesn't mean anything for Francis Adainimo, Kwabena Japan says, well, that's number 6. It means he's going to win. But for many of you, I'm sure, numbers mean a lot. Our focus is not on numbers. Our focus is on the process so far. Later on in the conversation, we'll be joined by the Director of Elections of the NPP and also a member of the Elections Committee, Evans Nimakon. But first, let me introduce my guest to you, Senior Lecturer at the Department of Political Science of the University of Ghana, Dr. Kwame Asah-Asante. Dr. Asah-Asante, good evening, and thank you very much for joining us.
Listening.
If you could unmute your microphone so we can hear you.
Yeah, I've done that already. Can you hear me?
Yes, I think I can hear you now. And if you could speak a bit, speak up a little bit for us. Great. So, I mean, you've listened to the last part. You've watched the last part, and 3 of the aspirants seem to be saying the same thing. They make the point that all they want is the guarantee of a free and fair election. I'll ask you about that. But so far, let's look at the NPP's process right from the beginning to the balloting, which was supposed to have happened on Monday. That didn't happen because few concerns were raised. Now it's taking place. What's your general assessment of the process so far?
Yeah, I think so far, so very good, even though there were initial hiccups, but the party was able to put its foot down and has been able to maintain some level of sanity, and then the process is smooth. Let's look at the first issue that they dealt with, was the issue of the centralized nature of the polls, which a majority requested for. But the party said that already there is a precedent, so there's no point changing that precedent. So they maintain what already exists, so that they will do it in all the regions, the 16 regions, and they've come out with the modalities for that. That was a difficult one because there were a number of them. I think 9 of them were not in support of that decision. But at least they allow consensus to prevail, and then they took that decision in their strides, and then they move on. The second issue was the thorny issue of an ethics committee in place. I don't know whether they've started their work. Character assassination, attacking each other, so to speak. How are you going to package that person for the whole Ghana? Are you going to write a rejoinder to what you have said and all that? So I'm sure that that is one thing that is hanging. But at least a few days that I have followed the process, the tone, the insinuation and all that has come down. It's my hope and prayer that they will be able to stamp it or nib it in the bud so that we'll have a campaign of issues, campaign of ideas and all that. And that brings me to the point that if you look at the campaign, so far, we have seen some of them who have come out forcefully with the ideas and all that. For instance, Kennedy Japan has been speaking. I've been following him on the social media, and he's been coming out with fantastic ideas, all right? The type of ideas that will resonate with what? Delegate, for instance, his idea of what creating jobs with a cold store, with this, with that. He has said so many things. Kwabena Japan has also followed same with a lot of ideas, wonderful ones. We have also had Boatie Jakun with all the...
Hello, Dr. Asah-Asante. Okay, we'll try and get back to, senior political science lecturer at the University of Ghana, Dr. Asante. But we've been joined on phone by Evans Nimako, who's a member of the committee, and he's also the NPP's Director of Elections and Research. Evans, good evening, and thank you very much for joining us.
Good evening, and thank you for having me.
Great. So we know that on Monday there were a few issues here and there. The aspirants had petitioned. They wanted to hold further discussions. The discussions have been held. And they say that, they've agreed on the modalities for the conduct of the special, elections or super delegates conference, as many have termed it. What are these modalities that have been agreed on?
Well, thank you very much. You know the new Patriotic Party. We will listen to all stakeholders, and that's exactly what the Presidential Elections Committee has done. When we met on Monday, which was the very day the committee was inaugurated by the National Chairman and General Secretary, the concerns that came to us from the agents of the principals were that they needed to have some conversations with us and then see the way forward. Already the committee have planned meeting them today, and so today is being fulfilled. The concerns of the principals has to do with the management of the whole process. Elections is just not an event, it's a process. From the point of the composition of the register to the point of voting and declaration of results. And so these were the concerns that the principals brought, and we've been able to address them. We're starting at the point when we were joined by the election.
You are going to hold a meeting today and address issues with them.
It's a legitimate question. Monday was supposed to be the inauguration of the committee. So no out of place for the principals. That having been done, it is important that the president primary, and it is important that all concerns by stakeholders the way and manner with which the exercise was conducted. is that nothing has changed. The party has been given to the Presidential Election Committee. Submit them today. We met today, thankfully, and all issues have been. Is how are you going to conduct this whole exercise? When are you giving us the assure that if any of them have
Japan, Alan Chamanting, and Francis Adaniman, and they seem to be saying the same thing. One person. How does the party respond to
not just events. It is a process. And themselves was the album for the special. The printing of the ballot. 3. Vote. And so all those fears that they've expressed, the code of conduct, i.e., to respect the the party's rules of engagement. And I can assure you, and I'm happy. My brother, there's no iota of truth in the question you've asked. Given to the National Council. National Council approved the recommendation. All parties. The process has been very transparent and
Bringing Dr. Asante, who's rejoined us. Dr. Asante, I mean, with him and, get his views on this. But let me just get back to you, Evan.
to get the notice of full done. We've given timeline for submission. Must also be a delegate. And so
the party seems to be favoring one candidate.
There are a whole lot of people following the vice president. Process is free, fair, and the electoral playing field You are able to galvanize support, your contact.
But I mean, while you talk about okay, I think
the committee indicated through the this process. I've mentioned to you that the electoral by the Ghana Police, and so we ensure that delegates ensure that this exercise is completed and beyond the 21st. Principal, i.e., the presidential aspirant, they are all going. And so the party seeks to conduct a very they will not survive.
But you know, talking about this, and I'm sure you may.
You
dispute that?
My brother. The party our chairman of Legal and Constitutional Committee, they brought their nomination forms. They appeared before the vetting committee. For acclamation is Mr. A or Mr. C. There is a place to table it. And I can assure you and listeners,
the first four, and then the fifth and sixth. Of a tie, even within the special delegates conference, there'll be a runoff.
with all the candidates.
That in case at the end of it, those who qualify, and there's a tie making it more than 5, the party would go through a runoff.
All the candidates can attest to you that the issue came up and it's concluded that the party will conduct an exercise that will give us 5 maximum candidates for the main election.
And that exercise would be the runoff, election throughout the country.
If we have to conduct a runoff, the party will get that done.
Let me get a clarification here. Is it the case that the party hasn't decided or the party isn't clear what it will do under that circumstance?
The party constitution is clear that the special electoral college must elect 5 people where there are more than 5 for the main election. They said today it was discussed among the principals by the committee that in an event of tie of whatever, it is the mandate of the party to ensure that we have 5 people elected for the November 4, 2023 election.
Yes, I mean, Evans Demako, finally on this, let's get a clarity here. I know that if your party goes to elect a flag bearer during the main election and nobody gets more than 50%, there's supposed to be a runoff. Somebody could decide to pull out, and it means one person goes through. I am asking the simple question. If there is a tie making the number more than 5, are you going to go through a runoff? What are the processes available? What are the options available to the party? That's what I want to know.
Thank you, my brother. It is simple. The exercise will be conducted by the EC. When there's a tie, the party will conduct a runoff to break the tie.
Okay, so that's what I was looking for. Please hold on for me. Let me get to, Dr. Kwame Asah-Asante, and I'll get back to you on this whole, even a runoff thing and look at the constitutional provisions here and there. But Dr. Asah-Asante, you were earlier talking about, this whole idea of somebody being favored, being propaganda. How is it propaganda when, one of the aspirants says 8 of them have been communicating, and in the case of Aranov, they would support one of them against the system's candidate or the establishment's candidate?
Please, can you give me a gist of the I missed the last point of your...
No, I was asking that, you've said that this is just propaganda, and I am saying that how can it be propaganda when, one of the aspirants has made it very clear that in the case of Aranov, 8 of them have been talking, and they are prepared to support one of them.
Is it the case that virtually everybody is, has occupied as a vice president and so on, incumbent and is contesting? On with their campaign, and then they are making sure that the whole process is what? Free and fair.
When
to Sir John's statement of what fear delegate. Delegate will give you all. That you are for the people and the rest of them. But then the campaign with all the seriousness that you deserve. That is the way to go. I have not been able to follow all of them because I am always engaged in classroom. Canada, Japan, fantastic, and all that. I have not got the time to listen to Ada anymore, Mr. Poku, and the rest of it. But I'm sure that they have their messages that they are churning out, and it's gaining ground for them.
You've talked about these persons giving you, you being excited with the campaign messages of these persons. Would you then say that, yes, the NPP learned lessons from 2007, but based on all these persons, this person should get the chance to be, voted for by the larger population, and not just a select few, choosing 5 for them to go meet the larger delegates?
They have a Herculean task. The task is that they are able to walk this tricky path and get somebody elected who will, appeal to not only the people of the MPP tradition, but Ghanaians at large. You want to also make sure that all the challenges that confront you now, you want to be able to deal with them so that they don't become the building blocks for campaign against you. And the greatest headache for them is how to manage the economy so as to be able to touch in on that during campaign. That is a daunting task for the party, I must be honest about that. But I'm sure that they also have looked at the way forward to some of these things. On top of it, they want to also make sure that after the election, obviously when you go for elections, there are conflicts, there are disagreements and all that. How do you get them resolved? I'm sure the party has put in place a mechanism to deal with this. Last election, we saw that immediately after their primaries and all that, they were able to mend their differences and all that, because your ability to be able to handle this thing maturely gives you the edge to be able to call out these people to come and follow you, and then root or pledge your support for the person who is leading the party. It's critical. And I'm sure that all these things are part of their calculation that those political actors are looking at and advising the party from time to time.
Yeah, but my question is, I mean, you've talked about how these, aspirants that you have listened to have good campaign messages. I am asking, we've seen it in other parts of the world. I mean, when you have, they start the process, and by the end of it, if you go through a decentralized election, over there in the United States, for instance, it starts in somewhere in January, February, and by the time you go through the first states, if you are a contender or pretender, and you either would continue or you drop out of the race. I'm asking you, would you have preferred a situation where the NPP presented all these 10 to the delegates?
Who are going to vote. It's quite a small number, and they are going to whittle down this 10 to 5. Obviously, the selection is going to be beautiful, is going to be perfect, and is going to be the one that will ginger everybody to go in for the last year. So I have no doubt in my mind that this one is good, because it narrows down the process and then putting the best for the final lap. So this, ladder or the layer that they introduce, I think that it's a very good sieving process, and it's going to bring out the best of all the 10, so that finally you present the 5 and then the party decide on one. I think for me, from where I sit, it's the best if we are to follow what Hamilton has advised us when we're talking about election by the Electoral College.
But if you want to follow that also, then wouldn't you argue that if that's the case, then you might as well get a few to elect a flag bearer and not then, reduce the number to 5 and send it to the majority, to over 200,000, to, vote for them?
Rome was not built in a day. I'm sure that MPP did not.
Evans Nimakun at this point. Evans, and I'll ask you, I'll wrap up with you. Five years, I mean, that was something that was started in 2000. your personal view on this?
Well, thank you. For now, we have gotten that huge number in through for further engagement on how the party will make special in terms of how we to help conduct an exercise that will give the new you have to accommodate engagement with the president.
Hold on. You said 2 p.m. earlier. Now you're saying 1 p.m. Which is which?
They will be given the album. And fair to all stakeholders. The New Patriotic Party is in its will be the one that the whole of Ghana will give the mandate.
Is Joy News Prime. Stay with us.
But maybe next time, Charlie, you know what?
EcoBank double salary promo reloaded from now till July 31st.
You are your own person.
Plenty choice to take up. At times to when no one is in the house, then it's only the two of us.
What is happening is a national event.
The number one sport as Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia can now campaign and to scale any legal hurdle set in motion to delay this case. Later on in the bulletin, we have business coming up with Pius Kujobaka. And Pius, what are we to expect?
And independent power producers set to meet government tomorrow over debt owed them, as the debt is expected to hit $2.2 billion by the end of July.
Pius returns with the detail of that story. Remember that we are your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Stay tuned. This is Joy Prime.
News Prime headlines was brought to you by
Don't take risks. Use a condom every time.
And thanks to Malatu, I kicked out malaria one time.
Some spices, yes, sir.
And tonight, the Majority Leader, Osei Chairman Sabunsu, is on a warpath with Speaker Alban Bagbin, arguing that the veteran lawmaker may be leading Parliament to set a bad precedent over his decision to suspend sitting Wednesday due to an event hosted by the Church of Pentecost. The National Development Forum, being hosted by the churches to discuss national issues with the likes of former Presidents John Ajay Kufuor and John Dramani Mahama, as well as the Speaker himself, taking his turn to address the gathering today. Although the Speaker says that the National Development Dialogue being organized by the Church of Pentecost is an important duty that warrants the House to suspend sitting, Osei Chairman Sabusu disagrees. Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante has details of what transpired earlier in the House today.
It was rare that the Speaker of Parliament would direct that Parliament should not sit due to this event. Some MPs were startled, and the Majority Leader voiced his concerns.
We must endeavor to participate in that national event. And my little worry is, I'm not sure there is a formal communication to this House with respect to this. And I thought that if there's no formal communication, if we're not careful, we may be setting some precedent that will be difficult to follow. Mr. Speaker, with the greatest respect, if there is...
Majority Leader, there's formal communication. There's formal communication. Yes, there's formal communication. Communication to the House is through the Speaker.